So we're finally getting round to programming some of the buttons. As you can see that the USB boards are light. What I didn't realise when I put the wires onto these connectors on these micro switches that go on really tight, they don't want to come off. What I didn't realise was that the little LEDs, of course, are directional, aren't they? So some of these I've got round the wrong way, so it's an easy fix. I mean, you just have to basically take the bulb out, reverse it on its polarity, and away you go. So I've now got to go through all of the buttons there to get the lights to work. Happy days. Right, here we go. Done a little bit of software configuration. God, I'm really fed up. I'm really fed up with the software. I didn't realise how bad the software was going to be. Well, it's not bad. It's frustrating, but it's time consuming. Jesus. Anyway, we have now got the buttons lighting up. All of the LEDs are now done. I've still got to do the bolts on it. So we're going to try the first game now. This is called Ajax. This is a sort of a 1942 type game. Yeah, vaguely we call it. So if I've got this right, we should have the fire buttons working and configured, and the joystick should be configured. If I've got it wrong, then you'll never see this part of the video because I've made too many mistakes. Right, let's see. Here we go. Let's turn it up a little bit. Good luck, yeah, good luck indeed. I'll try and keep my fingers off the buttons here. Here we go. Well, that's the joystick working. Yay, look at that, look. So that's the, well, machine guns if you like. Brilliant. So these buttons should also work. That releases a bomb by the look of it. So I'm going to get killed. And then this one here, oh, there you go, that's like some kind of huge great thing. I don't suppose you get too many of those. Well, these are the, so you've got to get the ground sort of. So there you go, so you get the idea. I've still got to configure the start button and the player 1, player 2 buttons. They'll be the ones that will be lower down here in the cabinet. But I think now I've done enough software and programming, now I know how that works. I can get on and get my drill out and maybe sort of tidy this up and then work out the hinge mechanism, yeah, that's the right word, isn't it? The hinge mechanism, and yeah, move on from there. But things are moving forward, yeah, far better than a couple of videos ago when I was pulling what's left of my hair out. So anyway, let's crack on. Got an array of quite nice little bolts here. You know, these things are pretty cheap on the internet, aren't they? So I think for the joystick ones there, we use these little, I think these are M4. These are countersunk. So they'll go down, and I'll just get these little nylock locking nuts on the bottom, and it will just hide the little chipping there on the sort of melamine coating. Yeah, I need a little bit of a push through. So I think we'll get the drill out, and I think we'll go round and we'll just sort of countersink those, try and get them all looking the same, hopefully. Yeah, fingers. You've seen my woodwork, haven't you? It's terrible. Anyway, right, let's crack on with that. Let's just get a little bit done today. So that's the bolts in. Doesn't look too bad, does it really? Looks fairly uniform around the sort of bolts there. Looks better than just plain ordinary bolts. Right, just got to get the joystick now, get that fit on the back, and do the bolts up, and that's the job done. stuff. That's the joystick all bolted into place. It doesn't look too bad, does it? I don't think. And we've got this little cover shield to go over. And then finally, the little gumball. If I can get the thread to go. There we go. On top. So there you go. What do you think of that? So that's one side done. Just got to do the same on the reds. And things are moving on. Right. No time like the present. Better crack on. I won't show you this side because it's exactly the same as the blue side. So right, I'm going to crack on and get that done. There you go. That's both joysticks done. This board does pick up fingerprints though. So I've just got to configure player 2 buttons and get all the lights around the right way. And then that's the controller board finished. As I said before, you know, you could put a graphic pack over this, but then you'd really have to cover it in perspex. I'll see how I get on in time, you know, when I've got it all working and I've got a bit more time, I can always just pop these out and do that in the future. But for now, I'm pleased with that. That's looking pretty damn good, in my opinion. What do you reckon? Well, maybe don't answer that. Right, gonna move on. Welcome back. But I keep saying that, don't I? But of course, for you guys, it's all seamless, isn't it? It's just one long video. But I have actually been away for a few days. Loads of sort of family stuff, birthdays, Mother's Day, stuff like that. So I suppose you might be able to tell by the colour of my sort of fleeces that I'm wearing that it's a different day. Right, really need to crack on now and get some of the sort of construction work finished on this cabinet. Also need to go around the back of the cabinet, secure up the power supply since I repaired that fault. And I think we'll try and get Sean's light working as well. So I really want to crack on. First job though is to, as I keep saying, is to fix this control panel. And yeah, I've kind of like been, you know, awake at night in bed thinking about this. I had thought of hinging it from this panel, but it won't really work without the hinges being on the outside. So I think the simplest thing is going to be to drill through from here, put in a concealed bolt, and just basically have that into the 18mm MDF, which will sort of give it a hinge. So without any more talking, I'm going to crack on and I'm going to get that done. Solution works really well as it happens. Just those bolts just kind of screw into there, and then now this whole control panel hinges forward to here, which gives me access to inside. Only slight issue is that it just seems to be sort of catched just very slightly on this side. I may have to just file off some of the edging there just to smooth that, but just give it a little push over and it goes down and it feels quite secure. Might get a couple of magnetic little catches just on the inside just to hold it, but all in all that feels pretty good. So great, that's that done. So right, moving on now. Obviously I've got the holes here at the front to sort of fill in. On this side I think we're going to put in the 1 and 2 player select. On that side I've got just a couple of sort of blue and red buttons to go in at the moment. And I've got the flippers as well, which I haven't actually got, or got those, I'll have to probably order those. And then we've got the centre one, but I've got something special on order coming in from China for that. And a nice little, really sort of nice button there. I think I'll use that to start the games. Did think of maybe, you know, putting them on, some people put them on a control panel here, but I think there's enough on there, to be honest. I think if you start putting too many bespoke buttons on there, it loses the sort of arcade look. So, right. I think now we've got that fixed, I think I can sort of crack on and maybe get these buttons wired in. Then we can get round the back and start doing a bit of cable management. It never ends. But anyway, we're making some progress today, so we're cracking on. thing I've noticed with these buttons is that you can dismantle the top caps. Put these little discs in here, just by sort of basically squeezing these in. You can, so that gives me the option, I think, at a later date for maybe doing my own text or something in there, you know, start, stop. It keeps going in like that, doesn't it? But yeah, that's quite interesting. Like I say, these just literally screw on. You can get into them again. A bit fiddly to do on camera. But basically, they're just threaded. So yeah, I might be able to put my own text in there. So that'd be quite interesting. I think for now we'll just put them in and get them working as they are. But at a later date, that could be a nice little mod. Right, that's all the front buttons in, which you can just make out there. And also done the little side flipper buttons as well, which mainly will be used for like pinball games, which are pretty good. So brilliant. So I've just got to wire those into the control panel there, get everything configured in hyperspin, and jobs are good, and I reckon. So as I say, I've got something a little bit special for the middle aperture. But yeah, it's starting to take form now. It's starting to look like a real sort of arcade console now. Alright, I do have a slight issue that I didn't foresee. Another little error is the fact that unfortunately these wires will not stretch to the controller board whilst the controller board is fully open. That's a bit tricky. So that means I've got to try and close this down and sort of feed those in at the same time. Yeah, I suppose in hindsight I could have moved the controller board down there, but then it would foul against the arcade unit itself. Yeah, not sure really. Maybe I can't really see any other way, unfortunately. So it just looks like that it's going to be a little bit fiddly opening and closing the sort of control panel. It's a bit disappointing. Got to be careful as well because you've got the CPU fan cooler there. But anyway, let's have a little go. It's going to be a little bit fiddly, unfortunately. Well, it's not really doable. No, it really isn't. Okay, a little bit of. So what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to cut into these wires here and have to make some extensions. Unless they sell extensions on the internet, I don't know if they do still sell wiring extensions. I'll go and have a quick Google, but yeah, I think I'm going to have to basically manually cut and solder extensions into all of those wiring. So, well, it's a bit of a pain, isn't it? It's another little job that I didn't think I was going to have to do, but unfortunately can't see any other way out of it. So it's just a little setback. It's not a major disaster, but I'll have a little look on the internet first, see if it's someone else has come across this problem and maybe someone has just come up with a solution. What do you reckon, guys? Yeah, I don't think so either, but it's worth a go, isn't it? Right, I've got that rather mammoth task, if you like, of extending all of these wires now. I don't even know, about 15 wires or something like that. So we're just going to basically, you know, solder just some basic extensions on each one, you know, so that panel can shut down. I won't bother showing you this because it's particularly boring. It's going to take me probably about an hour, and but it's got to be done, and I'll show you around the other side once it's all in place. That's the first one done. That's the idea. Just a little bit crude, isn't it, really? But you know, just to extend the wires for that switch so I can get that panel open. So that's one done. 4 more to go, I think. I better crack on with it, otherwise I'm never going to get this thing complete. Well, 1 more wire to go. Oh dear. A necessary job, but it's been a bit of an ordeal. I've probably sat here for, I don't know, about an hour and 20 minutes, I guess. And my back is not happy. My back's decided to lock up a little bit on me. So I'm in a bit of discomfort now. So I need to just do this, and then need to take a break from what I'm doing here. And it's quite a nice sunny day outside. It started off quite cold, but I think we'll go out and give the car a bit of a wash over because it's got loads of salt on it from the weekend use. Unfortunately, this time of year you get loads of road salt. So yeah, I think we'll have a little break when I've done this. But yeah, necessary to do to get these wires extended. I don't know how many I've done. I'll show you in a minute, but it's quite a few. Not the most sort of interesting job in the world, is it? But I did look on the internet. Unfortunately, you can buy the whole complete wiring harnesses, including ribbon cable and multi sort of connector block things, but unfortunately nothing, no extension kits, which is a bit of a pain. Can get them sometimes. Things like car stereos, you know, they do extension kits for the sort of DIN mono blocks and the speakers, of course. Unfortunately, no one doing it for the arcade controls, so it must just be me then that cocked it up and put the board in. Well, I say not really the wrong place, was it? Because I wasn't really anywhere else that I could put it, to be honest. But never mind. Anyway, there you go. That's that. I don't know if you can see this on camera. I've probably zoomed in a bit too much. There you go. Job done. So that's that lot. All extended. And just got to put it all around the front now. But I say, going to take a break. So I will show you that in a minute. For you, it'll be seamless. For me, it's going to be in a little while. Try and get my my old back moving again. Getting too old, so here guys. We go. That's trouble. All the wires are now connected. Right. And those extensions that I made, you know, that just made all the difference, to be honest. So that was a bit back-breaking, but it allows this to fully open now. And do you know what? When I was doing this, putting these wires in, it reminded me back. Do you remember when you was a kid in the arcades? Now, I don't know if you was like me, but do you remember occasionally a machine would go wrong and it would require a reset, or it might even be that just a coin had got stuck in the slot, and a little grease monkey would come out from around the back in overalls, wouldn't he? And he'd open the door with a special key, and he'd sort of open the control panel. Do you remember? And you would see all of these wires, and it looked pretty much like this in actual fact. It reminded me of that, because we'd all gather around, you know, when we were kids. We'd all sort one of the machines were going to be opened. It was all kind of magic, wasn't it? All of those circuit boards. We'd all gather around to see what was inside and sort of, you know, get our necks in the way and get told to get out of it and stuff. And it looks a little bit like this. It's not so much fun when it's your own, is it? Right, so these wires need a little bit of gentle persuasion. But there you go, that closes down. Hopefully everything isn't going to touch. I think it'll be alright. But yeah, there you go. So I've got to configure these buttons on the side now. But that's the sort of control panel pretty much all wired up. As I said before, I might try a graphic on here. It's very easy to do, really. I just got to pop these buttons out, and might try a graphic just to sort of finish it up. I don't know, we'll see. You can always take it off again. But just that special button to come there on the front. But yeah, that's starting to look a lot better, isn't it? It's really sort of looking like an arcade machine now with the 1-player and 2-player buttons. I suppose the next thing really, once this is all working, I suppose, is to sort of try and work out the bezel and permanently fix the screen and then the marquee itself. And you know, slowly but surely getting close to sort of the nice finishing parts with the T-moulding and everything else. But there you go. Right, I'm going to go and have some lunch now. So that's as far as I've got, and yep, looking good, I reckon.